Hi everyone, welcome to the 13th episode of Mahabharata Chronicles. Just a quick recap. When Pandu and Madri died in the forest, Kunti was left with 5 young children. She had no choice but to come back to Hastinapur's palace. At Hastinapur's palace, Dhritarashtra was the king. He was living with his queen Gandhari and their 100 sons. He had everything, yet he was not happy. So what grief he had? Well, his son Duryodhan was younger than Yudhishthir. So the future heir to the throne of Hastinapur might not be his son. That thought tormented him. He felt that fate had tricked him again. First, he was blind, so he got thrown only because Pandu had left it. And now, Pandu's son was elder. He was not able to accept that fact, but could do nothing about it. Other side, not so far away, Krishna ruled Dwarka along with his brother Balaram. So what connected Hastinapur and Dwarka? What was Krishna's relationship with Hastinapur? Well, it was through Kunti. Kunti was Krishna's maternal aunt. She was sister of Vasudev, Krishna's father. But Krishna's involvement with Hastinapur or Pandavas had yet not begun. The 5 sons of Pandu were called Pandavas, and the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra were called the Kauravas. Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul and Sahadev were 5 Pandavas, and Duryodhan and Dusashan were eldest of the Kauravas. Both the Pandavas and the Kauravas were raised under the guidance and protection of Bhishma. Anyway, since Dhritarashtra was blind, it was Bhishma who took care of the kingdom. Dhritarashtra loved the Pandavas. After all, they were children of his late brother. But human beings are often complicated. Beneath the layers of affection, there was a deep-seated resentment. The children had caused him no harm directly, but they reminded him of his misfortune. He worried that because of them, his son could be deprived of the throne in the future. This resentment was dormant, but there was somebody else in the palace who shared the same feelings. It was Shakuni. He also harbored hatred towards the Pandavas. In his eyes, they were obstacles. He also wanted his nephew Duryodhan to become the king of Hastinapur. Shakuni was cunning and observant. He also knew what Dhritarashtra felt. The children were young and impressionable. And imagine Duryodhan being exposed to Shakuni's manipulation such early on. Shakuni made sure that this simmering hatred got engraved in Kaurav's mind. And as a result, Duryodhan became competitive towards Pandavas from a very young age. The Pandavas grew up taking the heat of jealousy and hatred, but their anger towards their cousins was mellowed down by the eldest one, Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir was patient, truthful, and ethical. However, Bhim was not so forgiving. He was powerful and low on patience. You will find very early in Mahabharata that Bhim was never a thinker. He was somebody who would use power to solve issues. So more pranks Duryodhan played against them, more Bhim started to dislike the Kauravas. Despite Yudhishthir's attempt to pacify him, he retaliated by bullying the Kauravas. Both Bhim and Duryodhan were same age and powerful. They often directed their aggression towards each other. One effect of this animosity was that the Pandavas became united. They became one unit, looking after each other. This further increased the hostility between Kauravas and the Pandavas. Though still a child, Duryodhan's viciousness grew unchecked. He even once tried to kill Bhim by poisoning his food. Bhishma and Gandhari could notice the growing hatred, and they worried. But any attempt by them to get the children together as brothers were futile. Be it obsessive love for his son or bitterness towards his own luck, Dhritarashtra never reprimanded Duryodhan for his aggressive behavior. As the children grew up, Bhishma realized that the Pandavas were more compassionate and kinder compared to Kauravas. They were more humble and respectful towards elders. He developed a special bond with them, especially with Arjun. This further irritated Duryodhana. And when you hate someone, you start to see bad in whatever they do. Same happened with Duryodhana. He started seeing ill intentions of his brothers in everything they did. Whenever Bhishma tried to defend the Pandavas or made any attempt to reason with Duryodhana to mellow him down, Duryodhana took it as partiality. Not only Duryodhana, but also Shakuni and Dhritarashtra believed Bhishma favored the Pandavas. Instigated and manipulated by Shakuni, and engulfed in his father's blind lust for power, Duryodhana despised his cousins. Long before anybody acknowledged, the Pandavas and the Kauravas had become rivals. End of episode.